Good afternoon. Would everyone please stand so we could salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, and I'd like to ask, actually, those elected officials to stay standing, or please stand so you can be recognized. All right, I see all of you out there. Thank you so much for your continued support of our community. We appreciate it so much. I also like to have us make a special thank you to Mosaic Company and Kaiser University for our sponsors for today's luncheon. Thank you very much. So on to Ed Hutzinger. All right, I'll keep my private comments to myself. Anyway, so absolutely. The Manatee Board of County Commissioners appointed Ed Hunsinger as the county administrator in November 2006. Hunsinger brought to Manatee County a mantra of accountability, civility, and ethics, ushering in a more business-like, customer-friendly county government. He values creative employees who aren't afraid to take risks. Ed received both his Bachelor of Accounting and Master of Business Administration degrees from St. Louis University. In the 1970s, Hunsinger served as Health Department Administrator at a St. Louis hospital. In the 1980s, he was Chief Financial Officer of a regional transportation authority in St. Louis and served as County Auditor for St. Louis County. In 1988, Hunsinger was hired as Assistant County Administrator of Hillsborough County, a position he held for 15 years. He served as Osceola County Administrator before being hired for the same position in Manatee in 2006. He is a member of the International City and County Management Association and the Florida City and County Management Association. He serves on the board of directors for the Manatee Chamber of Commerce, Bradenton Area Economic Corporation, United Way of Manatee County, and is also a member of the Anna Maria Island Chamber of Commerce and Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance. Please join me in welcoming Ed Hunsinger.
Appreciate it. Wow, he must be an old guy. My wife and I have movers coming tomorrow, so I can't stick around. We have a short film for you, and then I'll be running. Not really. What we'd like to show you early on while you're having your lunch is a film that we show all new employees. It's video. That's what they call it these days, videos? Yeah. Whatever. I'm old. That we show all new employees because when they come to work for the county, they generally think of the department that they work in as the government, whether it's parks or utilities or public works. And we want them to know they're part of a bigger family of Manatee County. And this video, shares with them what the county really is and the family that they've joined. So while you enjoy your lunch, and we will be back, or I'll be back, or Mike will be back, enjoy this. It's really kind of fun. Good morning. I'm Ed Hunsinger, the County Administrator. Welcome to the team. We look forward to you being part of our team because it's a very, very important team. It's very important that you understand your role in the government and the other things that we do here in Manatee County government. We start with the 7 members of the Board of County Commissioners. 5 of them are district commissioners, 2 serve on a countywide basis. They hire a county administrator, that would be me, and I also have 2 deputy county administrators, Dan Schlent and Karen Winden. Then we have 12 department directors. Those department directors manage all of the functions within this government. It's important that you get to know them and they get to know you, because we are a family here in Manatee County government and you're joining that family.
And welcome.
It's an important role that you have, but it's important for you to understand not only the department you work for, but how the other departments interact with your department and how we serve the Board of County Commissioners. They meet twice a month on a Tuesday. Very important actions that they take, approving the things that we do. I wish you well in service to the county government and service to your community. Welcome aboard. We're glad you're part of the team. Enjoy.
Welcome to Manatee County Government. I'm Nick Ozera. Today you're joining a team of 1,700 county government employees who serve the 340,000 residents of Manatee County. Most of the time, county government runs in the background of our lives, but in reality it impacts us in ways that you can't even imagine. We thought a good way to introduce you to the incredible scope of work that this county does every day would be to take you through the day in the life of a county government employee who works here at the County Administration Building in downtown Bradenton. Let's start at the crack of dawn. At 6 a.m., you wake up. At 6:10, you... And at 6:20, you wake up and head to the restroom to brush your teeth and take a shower. If you happen to use the restroom, you flush the toilet, and hopefully you washed your hands. Our utilities department is working for you. While you were sleeping, water quality technicians and chemists were up all night testing our water supply so that the water that reaches your faucet in the morning is safe and reliable to drink, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
We serve a little over 100,000 customers, water, sewer, and garbage services. We like to think we touch everybody the most. A lot of folks, just take it all for granted, and that's how we like it.
It's 7:50 a.m. Your morning commute is made far safer by local ordinances like speed limits, school zones, and traffic lights. The road crew that stops you is part of a public works department that impacts lives every day, ensuring that our commutes to and from work are safe and easy. Public Works is our second largest department. They oversee traffic patterns, they fix roads, bridges, and sidewalks, and they oversee Manatee County area transit. MCAT delivers more than 2 million passengers throughout Manatee County every year.
Public Works is 11 divisions, 389 people. We call them ambassadors of the community. We affect everybody's life every day. I love Public Works in Manatee County.
By 8:30 a.m., you've reached your office and you've started your day's work. So much of that revolves around your PC, laptop, mobile device, or telephone. Our information technology department keeps it all running smoothly. But our IT department does a lot more than repair computers and design software. They're the technical backbone of our entire workforce.
There's probably about $10 million worth of assets that we maintain. We exist to enable the business. We do that with speed and we do that with scale.
By 10 a.m., you're taking part in the Leadership Academy, which Human Resources offers as part of a ton of different employee training courses throughout the year. Human Resources offers employee recognition programs, retirement assistance, and they oversee the recruitment, screening, and hiring of new Manatee County employees.
We work to foster a climate where employees grow in their development, that they feel supported, that they feel connected and valued as employees of the county.
At lunch, you decide to take a break from the office and walk to Central Library to check out the latest Stephen King thriller. Libraries are part of a neighborhood services department dedicated to improving the quality of life for thousands of Manatee County residents. Neighborhood Services oversees the County Commission's economic development package that helps create and retain quality local jobs in Manatee County. And true to its name, Neighborhood Services administers local programs and grants that help Manatee County residents make the most of their neighborhoods.
We're your resource department. If you're working with customers, even yourself, family, friends, and you need to know where to locate services or how to access programs, the Neighborhood Services is the place to come.
On your walk back from the library, you're passed by an ambulance on its way to an emergency. That paramedic team, along with our 911 call dispatchers, are part of a public safety department that works around the clock, and they remain ready to respond at the drop of a hat to help you and your family in your most desperate hour. Our public safety department also includes animal services, marine rescue, and an emergency management division that works here at the Emergency Operations Center, monitoring weather patterns and natural disasters to make sure our community is ready for a catastrophe or a major storm.
So the Public Safety Department is exactly what the name implies. We are responsible for protecting the citizens and visitors of Manatee County 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Emergency.
At 2 p.m., someone from purchasing stops by your office to make sure an order you placed for your department is correct. A division of financial management, purchasing provides efficient procurement services to all departments within the county. Financial management oversees the County Commission's annual budget, which is a one-year spending plan for the entire government. The budget's available online so the public can access those documents anytime they need to.
What's interesting about our department is that we're bringing together as a whole the plan of the county. So you can actually see through that budget, through the goals, exactly where the county's headed, what their priorities are.
You take a break from a busy day at 3:08 p.m. to get some personal help from Community Services. Your father, who served in the Army for 27 years, is having trouble getting answers from the VA. So you make a visit to Veteran Services. They don't oversee VA benefits, but they do help thousands of local families obtain the benefits they earned in service to our country. Veteran Services is just one part of the Community Services Department. Community Services not only helps veterans, children, seniors, and economically disadvantaged Manatee County residents, they also help promote the importance of agriculture in Manatee County here at the UF-IFAS Extension in Palmetto.
We have probation services, human services, and ag and extension services. The only thing that they really have in common is their last name, which is service. Service is what we're all about, and we look forward to engaging with our community in whatever aspect that we're needed.
Throughout the workday and throughout the county's facilities, you'll notice friendly custodial staff keeping our work areas clean and maintenance staff keeping our work areas safe. They're part of a large property management department that not only oversees our public facilities and grounds. Our property management department also includes a beach maintenance crew that picks up litter, rakes the sand every morning, and makes sure our beaches are among the most beautiful in all the world.
Well, I've got a very diverse department with 173 individuals with the 6 divisions. I am responsible for everything from custodial responsibility all the way to acquiring, $3 million, $4 million parcels and anything in there between.
The workday ends at 5 p.m. As you make your commute, you notice all the different ways Public Works is impacting your drive. Then you pull into GT Gray Recreation Center and recognize a worker from property management who's there trimming a tree. As you head into the fitness center to use our state-of-the-art fitness equipment, you're greeted by a number of friendly staff members.
All right, 10 more.
After your workout, you head to Robinson Preserve for a few minutes of peace and tranquility, a leisurely sunset stroll. You grab your camera to take a few photos of the beauty that surrounds you. Our Parks and Natural Resources Department oversees 40 public parks and nearly 30,000 acres of gorgeous conservation land around Manatee County. But that's not all. Manatee County Parks and Natural Resources is our environmental science group, and they help ensure the health of our beaches, mining lands, and coral reefs.
People define themselves, where they're from, or where they're going, and things they hope to do while they're there. The county has many opportunities, of course, but we provide at the parks that kind of outdoor experience that you can get no place else to find the real nature and natural settings of Manatee County.
It's 10 p.m., and after a long day, you're ready to turn in for the night. You reach over to turn off the lights, not even thinking twice about the safe electricity that's running through your home. That's because professionals in our Building and Development Services Department have helped plan, inspect, and permit structures throughout unincorporated Manatee County so that the places we live and we do business are a safe place to work and play.
It's important to us to make sure that we provide the infrastructure and everything else that's needed to create a great community. We're not just about building homes or building businesses. We're helping our customers build a community.
Your day may be ending, but your weekend is just beginning. On Saturday, you decide to head to the beach to soak up the sun and sand on Anna Marie Island, our area's most popular tourist getaway. The Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, a county department, promotes Manatee County throughout the United States and the world, helping to make tourism one of Manatee County's top industries. The CVB also promotes the Bradenton Area Convention Center and the Powell Crosley Estate, two public assets that host public events and private parties throughout the year.
Where many Manatee County employees are working locally here, we're in the marketplace trying to showcase the Bradenton area to prospective visitors. We work in Europe, we work in other parts of the domestic United States to try to drive visitors to our area so they come here, enjoy a lifelong vacation, and spend a lot of dollars here.
You might have noticed some of the friendly, smiling faces throughout this video. That's because customer service has been at the heart of what we do at Manatee County government, and it has been since 2007, when Mr. Hunzeker arrived. Here he is to talk about the importance of customer service at Manatee County government and how it sets us apart from some of the places you might have worked in the past.
We're very well known in the region and the state for how we treat the citizens that we serve. It's important, prompt, courteous, friendly, and timely. So remember, the ACE philosophy and our commitment to customer service. Thank you.
So whether you're part of a road maintenance crew, a librarian, an MCAT driver, or a veteran services officer, you're part of a huge organization that impacts lives and serves this community every day. It's a huge responsibility. We take a lot of pride in it. We hope you enjoy the job. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
We're glad you're here.
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 Thank you all for being here. Saw Mayor Murphy there. He said he came from the island because he thought that he'd be the only one here, and then he and I could have a little discussion. But this luncheon comes with an added benefit because my wife and I are moving tomorrow, and we've got a lot of boxes in the house. So eat up, because when you finish here, if you'd all take the opportunity to go by 1711 85th Court, pick up a box, and deliver it out to the ranch, we could cut down on that moving expense. Raise your hands. Anyway, thank you all for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I've got to tell you, years ago, there was a luncheon scheduled by the chamber, and I think John Osborne was going to be the speaker, and he got called away at the last minute. And my friend Bob Bart said, "Ed, would you stand in and speak for him?" I said, "Sure, I'd do that." At the same time, I had a new assistant, Kim. Some of you know Kim. And Kim came into my office and said, "You're going to speak at this lunch?" And I went, "Yeah." "People would pay to listen to you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Really?" "Kim, go back to your office." So here I am again. And you paid. I hope I don't disappoint. That's a film we put together, as I said earlier, to show every new employee about the family that they join. It's an important family. We're real proud of the group that we have serving the public. As we tell folks, we touch you every day, as the film indicated. You don't realize it, but we're there. We touch you. The only time you really think about us is when it doesn't work. You put out that garbage in the morning and you come back at the end of the day and it's still there. Then you think about us. But we try to make those events very infrequent because everybody just gives their all. We have a management philosophy. It's pretty easy. Every new employee gets it. It's called our ACE philosophy: accountability, civility, ethics. Short story, we just tell everybody accountability, it's your job, only your job. We hold you accountable, do it well, but you will be held accountable. Civility, well, we don't earn our paychecks. We take the money in the form of taxes, and because of that, we have a higher calling of civility to the public and to each other. We just don't tolerate incivility anywhere. And ethics, well, pick up the paper on any given day and you read about some government employee or a person getting elected that tries to take advantage of their position, line their pockets because of their government job. We don't do that. And then I also tell every new employee, this ain't baseball. There's no 3 strikes. You violate that, you're out. It's pretty simple. They all get it. And we also add to that we like to push accountability and authority down. We took, during the recession, 25% of the government out, 18% of the workforce. And since then, 50,000 new people have shown up in this county. People work harder because we let them spread their wings. If you know something needs to be done, do it. Don't ask, just do it. Get out there and serve the community. It's important. If you can do it tomorrow, don't. Do it today. It's important. It's the people we serve. We live here. We're your neighbors. There's 1,700 employees under the Board of County Commissioners. They live here. They want the same services. They think they live in a wonderful community. We know we live in a wonderful community. You hear about, on the federal level, all those characters running for office, and they're all talking about gloom and doom. What a horrible time we live in. It's like, really? Walk outside and look around. Look at the community we live in. Look at the amenities that we have. You start with the beaches. You travel the roads. You look at the libraries, you look at the parks, you look at the sporting events that we have, we look at the shopping that we have. As a community, we have a port, we have an airport. We live in paradise. Sure, there's problems out there, but if there were problems, why do we have the roads so crowded in the month of March? The whole world wants to be here. I was talking to a fellow yesterday, you know, when you move, you got to make all those phone calls about changing your profile at the credit card companies and the electric company and the gas, all those things. This fellow I was talking to is in Pittsburgh. He wanted to be here something awful. He said, I'll come down there and help you make that move. It's a great place to be. We should be proud of where we are, and I know we all are. It's just a great community. People are friendly. We were just recognized for being the 3rd best place in the country, and somebody wanted to know, last year you're number 1, do you feel bad? Really? We're pretty good at that. 3's good. 3's good. Think of all the wonderful places in the United States, and this is just a little bit better. You've got a great community. Great places to go, great things to do, year in, year out, day in, day out. But we do have challenges. That's not to say we don't. You know, we've talked to the Board of County Commissioners about some financial issues that will face us in 2018. The board was kind enough to put together a Citizens Advisory Committee. I never remember the Citizens Financial Restructuring. Did I get that, Dan? It doesn't have an acronym, and us folks in government, we got to live by acronyms. Financial Budget Restructuring Committee, whatever. And they've been meeting and looking at how is it that we fund this government. Because the way we fund the government, we've been funding it that way for so long, we've come to think it's right. We've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Same thing, year in, year out. 1/3 of the people cover 2/3 of the cost of the government services you saw in this film. And there's all these other revenues that all these other governments use in order to relieve the pressure on property taxes. We chose not to. Why? I don't know. It was before me. It was before any current sitting commissioner. These decisions were made years and years ago. But year in, year out, we try and fund the services of this government on the backs of the same people. So we're taking a look at that. We've taken these folks through a variety of ways to look at how the operating budget works, how our capital program works, and how the services get funded and those that we don't fund so much. And they're taking a long, hard look at what we could do. And the interesting part is at the beginning of March 10th, we're bringing in county administrators from other county governments to talk about how they fund their governments. And I think that's when you get that head slapping time and go, wow, why don't we do that? Why are we doing what we do? I don't know, because we always have. So it's an interesting program and its challenges because what we're looking out over is the next 30 years. Everything we do in this county government is thinking 30 years out. I told this committee at their last meeting, I said, what you're embarking upon to me is as important as those commissioners that 50 years ago decided to fund a dam. We have water. We are one of the few counties out of the 67 counties that doesn't wake up every morning worrying about water. We have water. We have all the water we need. We sell water to Sarasota. We could stop development in Sarasota by shutting off the spigot. Oh, no, we're not going to go doing that. Dale, now don't put Dale. Claire? Ed threatened to shut, no. It's on YouTube, Ed. All right. But it's important to think out 30 years. What do we want the place to look like? And it's not what we want it to look like. There's that group that they call millennials. They got a different mindset. They're going to be the ones running this place. What do they want? Where are the roads going to be? Where are the parks going to be? Where do we need libraries? I'm kind of looking at those programs for aging services. We should do more. It's a challenge when you're thinking out 30 years, but when you think about it, whose job is that? The government. Where are we going to put roads? Where are we going to put parks? It's time to plan for that. Some people in the community says we have to control growth. I look at controlling growth as something akin to saying I control my teenagers. Yeah. You tolerate them, you don't manage them. We try and work with the development community on where is the best place for the parks, the libraries, the roads. Where are we going to put those things? But as important as the new growth is redeveloping their urban core. The whole community developed 60, 70, 80 years ago, Tamiami Trail. That was it. That was the original main road through. Everything developed out from the Tamiami Trail. And it's showing its age. And it's time to take a look at restructuring that. Remodeling, if you will. We in Florida are really good at dealing with new development. Our comp plan is designed for dealing with new development. Everybody knows how to deal with new development because we've been doing it for so long. We don't know much at all about redevelopment, but we're embarking upon that. We've set up the Board of County Commissioners, this tax increment financing district, covers the area south of Manatee Avenue, west of 301, and that whole quadrant we need to redevelop. We need to help those neighborhoods that were built before the current regulations were in place. They don't have sidewalks because they don't have stormwater. They have a swale. That covers their stormwater. And because they have a swale, they don't have a sidewalk. They don't have street lights. So on a dark morning when your kids are getting up and going to school, they get to walk in the roadway in the dark. Is that what we want this place to look like 30 years from now? All new neighborhoods have those things, but we have some nice neighborhoods. We have some not as nice neighborhoods. They all have the same problem. Swale, no sidewalk, no streetlights. We ought to do something about that. Working with the businesses along those urban corridors and redeveloping the business districts in those corridors. It's important. It's really important to millennials. They don't want to own a home in a cul-de-sac. They'd prefer to live in the grid side. I always talk about people, there's really two counties. There's one east of 75, that's the land of the cul-de-sacs. And then there's west of 75, the land of the grid system. Neighborhoods. It's all about redeveloping those neighborhoods. Putting a pipe in that swale, cover it up, put a sidewalk in, put some streetlights in. Build some pride in the neighborhoods. Do some density and intensity. Because those millennials, they don't want a car. They want technology. They want to walk to work. They want to walk to where they dine. They don't need a car. My oldest son bought his oldest son a car for his 16th birthday. It sat in the driveway for 8 months before he went to get a driver's license. When we were 16, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we were tapping Dad on the shoulder. Take me down to the Department of Motor Vehicles. I want one of those licenses. They don't care. So it's important we think out those 30 years to figure out where it is that we think this community needs to be and how we can help shape that. And we need your help. It's a fun thing to do. It's kind of fun to put that plan together. Anyway, I'm going to stop here because there's probably a question or two about what we do in the county government, because some days it doesn't look like we're too bright. So this is your chance to fire away, because I've got all these commissioners here. And if I can't answer it, they can or not. Feel free. Ooh, I got to go home and pack, so Mr. Murphy.
First, I'm a big Ed Hunsaker fan. I think he's a very smart man. He's very charming. I think he does a great job. I obviously, I live on the island. Recently, 3 people in Holmes Beach helped all of you keep access to your beaches. If you see Pat Norman, Bob Johnson, the mayor, or Judy Tisworth, say something nice. The permit parking got defeated. There were 3 votes in favor, and those 3 people basically stopped that. A lot of us felt that the beaches of Manatee County belonged to the children of Manatee County, and so the permit parking was a very bad idea. Now that you can go there and park, you can't get there. So, the TDC, the marketing that we do for Manatee County, the marketing that we do for the beaches is working. Now, the problem is the traffic is such that people can't spend money, can't go out to the island to spend money. So businesses out there, their businesses are, sales are down because of traffic. And you and I've talked about this before, but I think it's an issue for everybody. We've really got to figure out a way to move some. Mickey Mouse can move 100,000 or 200,000 people a day. We've got to figure out a way to do a better job to get people out to the beaches. So that's same old question we bring up from time to time, but need some help.
That is such a community-wide issue. And the traffic problems used to be the month of March and those holidays of Easter, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Now that's expanded, and we have problems a lot more often than just those days. and we ought to take a look at what we're doing. But it's a community-wide issue. It's not just a parking committee in one of the 3 cities on the island. Good intended people in 1 city out of 3. I represent that there's probably a goodly percentage of people that go to the island that have no idea, sorry, Mr. Murphy, that there's actually 3 cities there. I'm going to the island. What do you mean there's 3 cities? And can you imagine 3 different parking plans? On that side of the street, you pay this. On this side of the street, that would deter that tourism thing and deter the rest of us from wanting to go there. We ought to take a unified approach to how it is that we're going to deal with traffic, parking issues on the island. It might be an outgrowth of this budget restructuring group of the board because we don't have much money to deal with that. One of the things that we do is we charge impact fees to new growth. We have the highest impact fees of probably any county on the west side of the state of Florida. Probably some of the highest in the state of Florida. But that's for new growth, and they pay for the roads and the schools and the parks that they require for their new growth. But when those things start wearing out, how do we replace them? When the roads start wearing out, when the playground equipment in the parks that we've been building for 25 years with impact fees, that playground equipment starts wearing out, what money can we use to replace that? How do we deal with non-growth related issues like traffic to the island? That's tourism, but you can't use impact fees for that. We need to start looking at how are we going to manage the assets that we currently have, and how do we do that better? What revenue sources are available to deal with that? And it's working with the islands and the county to figure out a plan for parking on the island. One plan, not 3 or 4 plans, one. Because for 20 years we've complained about parking and traffic on the island, and for 20 more years or 30 more years, we could enjoy that discussion again and celebrate that problem over and over again, or we can get serious about sitting down and talking about what can we do. I hear up in Clearwater the other day they had a discussion about a gondola out to Clearwater Island. And I thought to myself, a gondola on a windy day in Florida? I don't think so. But I was talking to our friend Rick Piccolo the other day at lunch, and we were wondering, why didn't that monorail thing at Disney ever catch on? I've never heard a good answer as to why that didn't catch on. I know in Seattle they built one for the World's Fair years ago. Part of it is still operating. But I would think that would be a little safer in a little wind than dangling on a gondola over the water, a couple of 100 feet in the air. No. But we need to tackle that issue. Park ride lots from the mainland out to the island. Work with FDOT for tolling the bridges. One of the concepts is the further west you drive, the more expensive it ought to get. Stop somewhere along the way and take some other means of transportation to the island. Or water taxis. What's the matter with a good water taxi? We ought to be able to make that work over the next 30 years. Anyway, Mr. Murphy, good idea.
And to follow that up,
uh-oh.
I had a phone call on the way here when I was driving here. It was from a guest that ate with me, and he was complaining about the way he was treated. And so I thought, you know, I hope I placated him and took care of him. But I wanted to give you a list of every county employee that's pissed me off. And I can't think of one. And I've dealt with a lot.
I know you have, thank you.
You have the most awesome staff there is. Every one of them reflect your thought process. And that was the conversation I had with my guest was, I want to make sure my guests are happy, but I have 350 people that I hope, are relaying my same message. Your staff are relaying your message. Thank you. And I need that video. I'd like to do that.
We had some nice folks from Sarasota County come up yesterday, visiting with John Barnott here, about how we deal with development. Because they keep hearing, why don't you do it like Manatee? So they finally got in the car and came up to see, how is it that we do what we do? So we chatted with them about how we do what we do. And part of that discussion was no fear. Think about a job you had in your life that you kept your head down because it was such a place that if you stuck your head up, you could get it knocked off. This day and age, they call it a hostile work environment, but there are places that they want you to follow the letter of the law. We do it this way. We say, figure it out. We could hire consultants and bring them in from Timbuktu and tell us how to do what we do better, or ask the people doing the work. Ask them. You think you could do this better? Yeah. Well, join a little team and figure out how to do it better. Push authority and responsibility down and take away fear. We'll make mistakes. We'll read about those mistakes in the paper the next day. We'll get over it. Take away fear and watch people shine. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Hello. I come from the alternative capital world, and it might be a suggestion to close the gap for missing impact fees and things like that by exploring alternative capital, which is about $80 billion a year in transactions that reduce cash requirements for purchasing for all different products, services, and things that are needed by counties and municipalities.
Thank you. I'll get your card when I leave. You're not going to let me off that easy. Remember, you have to leave here and go get a box. Keep eating, keep asking questions. Sun could go down.
Thank you, Mr. Hunziker. Really two questions that are somewhat related, at least to the topic of millennials and young professionals. One is that for our Manatee Young Professionals program, the members of that organization, I know you're well aware that attainable housing, workforce housing, whatever you want to call it, is still an issue. It's been a top issue for our young professionals for more than a decade. Maybe a little blip there after the recession, but it continues to bubble to the top. We have a unique opportunity in Manatee County, maybe compared to some of our surrounding communities, with the rewrite of the Land Development Code taking place now. Could you explain to us where that opportunity might lie to make a difference in housing that's attainable, not just for young professionals, although our program's focused on that. There's lots of employees at lots of businesses outside of that young professionals demographic that I think housing is becoming a pressure point. My second question has to do with, as a major employer, I know you've looked at the demographics of your workforce, and I think the county has taken a very progressive approach in encouraging leadership development amongst your millennial and young professional staff. I think it's a model that business needs to embrace as well. If maybe you could share a couple comments about your millennial movement within your own workforce.
Ooh, thank you, Jackie. We have a comprehensive plan, and we won awards for that comprehensive plan back in 1988. It was an award-winning plan in 1988. I asked people, anybody driving around in a 1988 car? No. It's time to tinker with that document. It was a wonderful document for its time, but for the most part, you read through that comprehensive plan, and it helps you develop that east side. If you've got 500 acres and want to put a bunch of houses on it, that plan gives you the roadmap to success. It doesn't do anything for redevelopment. We need to fix the redevelopment. And then when I first came to Manatee County, I must have heard over and over again, we're a low-rise, low-density community. It was kind of a sense of pride that we were a low-rise, low-density community. And I was intrigued by that because when you think of it it really means you're into paving over the green space. You're into very expensive infrastructure. You're kind of anti-business. Most places in the world, or in the United States, are thinking about protecting green space. I've never seen a referendum in the state of Florida for buying environmental land ever get less than 70% voter approval. People like green space. So this low density concept kind of permeated the county. We have 35-foot height restrictions, right, Betsy? 35 feet. Wow. Our comprehensive plan doesn't provide for retail on the first floor and residential above it. Anybody been to out to Disney and Celebration? Little downtown Celebration? A little downtown area? Commercial, restaurants on the first floor, residential above it? What's wrong with that? That's what millennials want. Live and work and play in the same neighborhood. Don't need a car. If you follow our comp plan, you're going to need a car, maybe two. That might be good, but we ought to provide for those that want something else. And that's part of that redeveloping the urban core, rewrite the comprehensive plan for that part of the county and the land development code to provide for those type of amenities that the other part of the community want. Let's get over that height restriction. We're not talking about building skyscrapers. I remember when Rex Jensen down there in Lakewood Ranch proposed a couple of 9-story buildings. And I was talking to him one day. I said, I didn't know those were the twin towers of Manatee County. 9 stories, eh? Big stuff. Really? We certainly can get over 35-foot height restrictions in the urban core. A little density and intensity, and maybe attract a different type of business and different types of people here. As to our millennial movement, we started talking about the people that are going to live here 30 years from now. And we started talking about millennials. And then one day, one of those youngsters said to us, you should stop talking about us and start talking to us. That kind of set us back on our heels. But we took it to heart. And we gathered up the millennials in the county government. And we said, all right, you're on. We formed an organization from across all those departments that you saw earlier, invited all those millennials to come together. They have just done remarkable things the last couple of years. Now they've been invited to presentations in Minneapolis this summer. Where else, Karen? And Memphis. And perhaps the International City County Managers meeting in Kansas City. Stop talking about us, start talking to us. It's a hell of a mantra. Interesting. We encourage them. We push them. We allow them to spread their wings. We give them a seat at the table in management meetings. It's a good thing to do. You learn some stuff. And they're not afraid to talk. Some days you wonder about. It's great. We enjoy them. Other questions? Yes.
That was incredibly inspiring. And along that line of reminding people about things, that Manatee Millennial Movement that you've heard about is getting ready to have a conference in April. And if you have young people in your business or your family, they should be there, because as much as our county employees, they spoke at our leadership conference last week. They sat on the stage with people working globally. If you were there, you would have been so proud of them. But there's more young people in our community that should be there and having a voice in where our community is going to be in the next 30 years.
And that conference is when?
April 1st through 3rd. It's hashtag for progress. There's lots of young people around here. Google Manatee Millennial Movement or Bing it, whatever service you use, find out about it. But shouldn't we have a lot of people there?
Absolutely. What's that binging thing? All right, we're going to get out of hand here. Other questions? Well, thank you all for the opportunity to visit with you this afternoon. It was my pleasure.
Thank you, Ed, so much. We're very lucky to have you as part of our community, that's for sure. A couple upcoming events I'd like to let everybody know about. We have an upcoming luncheon introducing our new police chief for the city of Bradenton. I don't know what's going on. And also we have a really exciting luncheon with the USF Bulls coaches, and that is coming up in March. And there's flyers on your way out that you can grab those and put those on your calendar. And that concludes our luncheon. Thank you so much, and everyone have a great afternoon.